I kind of was able to see it not as, oh, this is my new identifier and I don't like it. It
Ah,
was more of this is my new identifier because I was able to establish myself in different like aspects of media
right.
before, and all of those contributed to the virality of the whole Conyo girl character.
All right, today I'm joined by an online creator, student radio jock. You can catch her online on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. She's known to a lot of people as the Conyo girl character. Rain, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much, Trey. Nice meeting you.
You know what? I first saw your TikToks on like a big four kind of group on Facebook, right? I remember one of your first posts there, and then
Oh,
I felt such a
yeah, okay.
yeah.
I wasn't, I actually not, I'm not part of that group
Oh, okay, okay.
anymore. So, like, I think
Ah,
someone posted it there, and then my friend sent it to me. It's like, Rain, your face is on this Big Four group.
it's
I'm like, oh my
everywhere.
gosh,
It
I
was everywhere in that
left.
group. Like I remember because I'm from LaSalle. So
Mhm.
when I'm on that group, I thought initially you were like a LaSallian, Atenean. But then where do you really study?
I'm from UP.
UP Diliman, LB? Ah,
Diliman.
okay.
Yeah,
So you're not
Diliman.
really in the Ateneo LaSalle range. You're in UP. So I have a question
So,
because like this Konya girl character, is it really a character or is it just like an amplified version of yourself?
oh, I think at the beginning it was more of a, okay, wait. Okay, my very first video, I think it was an amplified version of myself, but
Okay.
going through it, creating more skits, I think it kind of transcended into a character of
Okay.
some sort. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not always like that, but then when I do talk, I have a tendency to
Mm.
be like that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I found that really interesting because at first, when you first started doing it, super relatable. By the way, I just need to say
thank you.
that. Like when I had flashbacks to like college because I stopped 2 years ago, 2018. When I was
Oh,
watching
okay.
those videos, I had a flashback to all the buildings I've been to, going to Taft. I remember everything. Like, and it was not just you. Like there are a lot of people doing this kind of content right now, right? So as you go
Mhm.
forward, you're saying it's more of a character now.
Yeah, it is a character.
Mm.
I kind of got a lot of ideas. Well, not kind of. I really
Mm.
did get a lot of ideas from the people commenting on my videos. Like, do this scenario next, and then throughout,
Yeah.
because there are only a couple of scenarios that you can adopt
Yeah.
to the character, especially
Mm.
being Conyo. I mean, you can't really do everything. So
Yeah.
I started touching base to whatever was trending as the months went by.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Did you base it on anybody that you actually know?
Yeah. I actually have told a couple of people about this,
Mm.
even my TikTok. I told them that a lot of the not really characters, but the scenarios I was making initially, especially the one that went viral, I think on the page was me like making Laglag a group mate.
Yeah, yeah,
Those are
yeah.
actually people. Those are actually people that I already went to class with, because
Mm.
the notion is that UP people are in Conyo,
Yeah.
but not a lot of people know that it's my college, UP College of Mass Communication,
Mm.
especially broadcast communication. It's a breeding ground of Conyo
I'm
people.
sure. I'm sure about that. Like I'm just here.
Yeah.
I'm yeah.
So. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, those are the people that I go to class with. Those are my inspiration, and my best friend, of course. My best friend is from UP also,
Okay.
but she did go to LaSalle initially.
Okay.
So even before that, she's actually from AC. So I think that's
Mm.
where, and I
Okay.
spent a lot of
Yeah.
time with her. So it rubbed off on me. And I have cousins who go to Ateneo who I also get
Okay.
inspiration from, and I ride to school with
Yeah.
them every day. So that's, I think, where it all came together.
Do you get annoyed when people just call you like, "Oh, she's the Konya girl"? Is it? Are you like, "I'm more than that," or is it like you're okay with it generally?
um, at first I was like, oh no, I'm being branded as this person. So I kind of, well, like all trends, it will lose its novelty soon, but
Mm.
I'm really happy that it became kind of like this whole thing
Yeah.
on social media,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically. So I never took offense. It was more of like, oh, I'm gonna be known as this when I've done a lot of different things
Yeah.
before substantially. So it's just like new identifier, and I don't like it. It
Uh-huh.
was more of this is my new identifier because I was able to establish myself in different like aspects of media
Right.
before, and all of those contributed to the virality of the whole Conyo girl character.
Oh, for sure. But how different are you when the camera isn't on you? Is it like, do you feel like you become a different person, or is it like you're generally the same?
I
Where
would
do
say
you place yourself? Yeah.
not really camera, because I also have noted in couple interviews that I am actually very introverted, I would say,
Okay. Okay.
in most situations. But yun nga, just like working in media, working in this industry,
Mm.
I had, and it's something that I wanted. I wanted to continue doing what I do. Like, I'm a host, and now I
Right.
get to
Yeah.
transcend all of these things online. So I can't let my introvertedness get to the best of me. And it's actually something that I regret, because
Mm.
I was doing that whole skit of me introducing myself to a boyfriend's mom.
Oh
I do
yeah,
it
yeah,
in front of my
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
family.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do it in front of my family. And the thing is, I thought to myself, oh no, I let my introvertedness get the best of me, that I wasn't able to start sooner. Because
Mm.
quarantine was so long, and
Yeah, it
I only
was.
did it, yeah, like before classes started, before
Yeah.
everyone got busy. So, yeah, that's something that I not really regret, but sayang lang.
Yeah. And those were really funny when you, even like the one where you're saying like the, what do you call this? You're like the older sister and then
Yeah.
you have the brother and then the girlfriend and all that stuff. Like, oh, you're not going to that. You don't know this. Yeah, yeah. But I was like, when I was hearing you say all that, I had really bad flashbacks. I was like, oh my god, I know these people. And then when you were having that character, just for me, it was a big flashback moment. And then I'm sure that you really derived it from. Are these like your experiences, or is it like your friends telling you about this happening, or?
I think it's cause I don't make a script. It's
Okay,
more
okay.
free. It's more free flowing. I think of a scenario, and more or less, yeah, these scenarios are something that already have happened either to me or to my friends, and then I
Okay.
just insert a little bit of element. Like, of course, it has to be kind of natural because
Yeah,
I have to
for
sell
sure.
it. Na parang I'm the mean sister or whatever. So
Yeah.
even if it's a personality, it's actually something that happened to my best friend that
Oh,
I was
okay,
telling
okay.
you about
Yeah.
earlier. My best friend who went to LaSalle and AC. It's something that happened in her family. I'm really close with her family, so like, okay, I can use this scenario, and
Mm,
then I can channel my energy into it. So kind of like that.
yeah. Is this something that you're planning on doing for the long run? Like, where do you think this ends in terms of the Conyo girl character?
Oh, actually, I know there's like a shelf life to everything, to
Mm,
every character,
yeah.
and I kind of felt like it was losing its novelty a couple months in, because for 2 months straight, I believe I was posting constantly every day,
Mm,
literally every day. I would post one video, so I have like a ton of videos out
yeah,
there,
for sure.
and then yeah, and then for a while, some people are like, oh, they started running out of stuff to make me
To
do, like
suggest.
scenarios. Yeah, even myself, like
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have a whole note file on my phone. It's like, oh no, it's running low, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
think of new things. So I think it's for a while it did lapse, and there was this whole sad thing that happened, like
Yeah.
people bashing Conyo
Okay.
TikTokers
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
wasn't really part of the like the group bash,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I felt so bad for my fellow. Of course, these people are my friends, so I just felt bad, and I was like, okay, fine, maybe it's not as as fun as it was before,
Mm,
because some people started tackling maybe offensive stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe I could pull back. And then now I'm getting comments of people saying, oh, I miss the character. When are you gonna
Uh-huh.
post again? But honestly, I'm just really busy. But
Okay.
looking forward, I think I'm really happy because it's moving forward to where I want myself to go. I definitely did not expect myself to become a content creator in the long haul.
Okay.
I do want to stay as a content creator, but
Right.
maybe it won't be my, what do you call this? It won't be my only platform, because before
Yeah.
I did radio, I did TV, and it's often I'm more mainstream media. When I
Mm.
think of a goal, it's more mainstream media
Okay.
and
Okay.
like hosting, because I'm a host, and
Right.
not a lot of it I can do. I can just because if you become a content creator, it's a full time job. Like,
It
where
is.
do you go
It
from?
is.
Right. So when you go from TikTok, usually people expect you to transcend into YouTube, which is
Yeah.
something that I also want to touch base in. But then it's just I'm thinking more of like maybe host a show on TV, something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
fun.
Like
That's really fun.
super, yeah,
Yeah.
like super, just dreaming big right now, but hopefully,
So that's where you want to be going into, as
yeah,
compared to like the YouTube account with a lot of subscribers.
yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, followers, the number of subscribers, it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest concern for me.
That's good.
Like number of likes, because I'm really happy, and I'm so grateful, because I don't have the largest following on TikTok, but when I went to Twitter, and then people started posting my videos on Facebook,
Yeah.
on different platforms
Yeah. Yeah.
basically. So it's kind of kalat,
It is.
and
I've seen it everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So it's kalat, and I think I would. I'm really grateful that that's where it led to, rather than just building up on TikTok.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
a lot of like I treat every video content that I post as an addition to where I want to get to,
Yeah.
and hopefully hopefully it will lead there.
Yeah. You never really know. I want to ask you a few things though, because like when I go on Twitter, um, you seem very aware of what's happening in the world. You know what I mean? Now I don't want to get too deep into that, but do you think some people don't really understand who you really are, what you really value because of the Conyo Girl character? And then you go on Twitter and like, oh, she cares about social issues and all this stuff. Like, do people generally get surprised?
I don't think really surprised.
Okay.
Maybe hopefully more of like hopefully more of like, oh, that's great, but not like, what, Rain
Okay,
is like
fair.
socially relevant. So I don't know, because when I started, I really tried to always say what I value. I really value like being able to contribute to awareness on certain issues, because before I was a heavy consumer of TikTok, of
Yeah.
social media basically. I never really envisioned myself not to be a creator. So personally, I don't like it when some creators, some influencers are tone deaf to issues.
Yeah.
And when I got the platform, I just made it a point that it's not going to be the same case for me,
Yeah.
because there really is a tendency, especially when brands start tapping you. I'm trying to understand it from a different point of view. Like, okay, yeah, maybe some influencers opt not to speak about it because, I mean, it's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So, right? So, I guess for me, I always just established that well, going back to the Conyo character kasi, I didn't want it to seem like Conyos are dumb, because they're not. A lot
Okay.
of Conyo kids are so bibo.
Yeah.
And a lot of Conyo kids are so bibo. So I think from that point, I really tried to establish that, yeah, this is where it's gonna be. This is where it's gonna be, my character. So that when I start maneuvering into who I really am, then people won't get too surprised that,
Okay.
or maybe think that I'm doing it just cause I don't wanna be cancelled or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've always been very transparent as well, telling people that, oh yeah, I'm affiliated with some news entities. So of course I have to stay informed.
Yeah. I think that's important that you noted that, because there are some people who, like what you said, like they're being called out for being tone deaf, etc., etc. And it's just a really hard thing to balance as well. And I'm sure that you feel that now because, you gained a following along the way. And it's not like you planned it. I don't think you were the type to be like, oh my gosh, I want to like, have 300,000 followers and whatever, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you don't seem like the type talking to you now. It's just more, it happened. You had a great, character, concept. You kept going. You were consistent. So eventually you gained this traction. Now brands are starting to tap you. But I think it's really important that you stayed aware, that you keep saying what you need to say. Because when I saw your tweets, like, generally speaking, I was very impressed.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I don't want to say that, the Conyo girl is, like, smart. Like, I don't, not in that sense, right? But more in, like, okay, like, she's not just a content creator. And she cares about the people, which is a really great thing. And I don't want to get too much into that, but I just want to say that it's very impressive that that happens. And I'm kind of seeing more people do that. Like, is that a trend that you're seeing as well regarding to content creators? Or is it generally still being silent about a lot of things?
I think it depends on who you're following as well. Because
Fair, fair.
for me, I know there are a lot of bigger content creators on TikTok with millions of followers who are just so tone deaf and just don't care about issues. But I think when you're really secure with your craft, and
Yeah, yeah.
thankfully a lot of my friends who I've gained along the way, like Inka and McCoy and Kaki, it's just so nice being in that environment. So
Yes.
we kind of like, that's the spiral of silence for us. Like, if you don't speak up and you're part and you're affiliated or like associated by people with these people, it's like, kahiya naman, diba? Like, do your research. It's so easy. It's the age of
Yeah.
information. But there are still people who, well, I don't really know their crowd, so maybe it's not a thing for them. So yeah.
Okay, that's a fair point. All right, I want to go a bit into your career, apart from the Konya girl character, right? So right now you're studying in UP Diliman. You're studying. Sorry, say that again. What are you studying exactly?
Broadcast communication.
Are you almost done? Where are you in your in your college life?
I am in my fourth year,
Oh, okay.
so I only have, yeah, I'm graduating hopefully by June 2021.
Is radio what you're gonna aspire for next, or is it really, I want to get into television, I want to work there?
The way I see opportunities, kasi I always look for areas wherein I could grow further. So I already did radio when I was a student job.
Right.
And I just felt like the training that I needed from them was already something that I got.
Okay.
And I had to, not really had to, but I just made it the point that, okay, I'm gonna leave na radio. I left in 2018 before I even became a courtside reporter. I just thought, okay, I feel like I have the training that I need na. And if ever naman I want to be a radio jock, I will get back to it. But now, kasi it's more of like, I'm so young, I want to explore different opportunities before settling in on one. And radio kasi, it's like when it's a 4-hour job. So
it is, yeah.
Yeah, 4 to 5 sometimes. Yes, and then the usual spot that newcomers get, yung mga graveyard, right?
Yes.
And I really had to think about it because it is a possibility talaga for me. I already was there. All I had to do was audition. I knew the people na. But I was thinking, I'm a host also. If I do hosting, it's gonna compromise. And at night, usually yung event, it's gonna compromise that.
Yeah.
So I decided, when I left in 2018, I decided to focus on hosting. So I had a lot of gigs, and then after that, 2019, I became a courtside reporter. So I saw how things became like a stepping stone to the next part.
Yeah.
And then being a courtside reporter naman, I was thinking just being realistic. I don't want to be too hopeful because there are a lot of realities talaga na parang I had to confront myself with.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, so when I became a courtside reporter, the first month I literally was like, yeah, I'm gonna be here forever, long haul, baby, gonna be a commentator. But after a year, I had to think about it, and I actually was talking to one of my friends who is a commentator now, and I had to hear it from him. It's like, do you think it's gonna be a sustainable job staying in sports? And then he really was honest with me. Like, Rain, honestly, if you don't want to be a PBA courtside reporter, branch out already.
Yeah.
Because, and especially that with Sport and Action being the first departments to go since the closure of ABS-CBN.
Right.
Yeah, and UAAP is paused pa. I just took it as like, okay, maybe it's time to gear up for the next part. So, yeah.
What is the hardest part about being a courtside reporter?
Hardest part about being a courtside reporter. I don't know. I don't. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed what I did
Okay.
before. But I
So like
think
early
if
mornings, did you have any of those?
oh, yun ba? I don't know. Yeah, of course there were a lot. Of course there were a lot.
Mm.
I think hardest part. A lot of people would expect that to me to say na hardest part is being in front of the camera and speaking live. It really isn't. It's
No, that's the part
90.
you enjoy.
Yeah, it's actually 90 ba? Yeah, 90%
Mm.
is preparation.
Yes.
And going live, it's just 2% of everything. Because
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I live really far, and I got assigned to Adamson, which is just like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
like so hard. And then I would go to Manila because I practiced in Manila.
Yeah.
I'd go to Manila whenever I would have free time, or sometimes when they would have a game on Wednesday, I would have to skip class on Tuesday because I have to have something to write on my
Mm.
notebook. So their practice starts at like 6, so I live really far. I wake up at 3,
It's
leave by
crazy.
4. It was a crazy, crazy time. But looking back, I don't see it as something hard because I got used to it. So I
Okay.
kind
Yeah.
of like I was training to be an athlete as well, waking up early, like
Going to
yeah.
training and seeing how it all played out.
Mhm.
And until what time would you usually stay there?
Their practice ends I think around like 12, so I would leave
Okay.
around like lunchtime.
So you'll be there
Sometimes
for
I
the
would
whole
have
morning,
to
basically.
yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I would have to rush back to school to UP because I'd have classes in the afternoon, but yeah, my teachers were very supportive
Ah, that's
naman,
good. That's
thankfully.
good. Mm.
They were very supportive naman. So it's like, but ma'am, I'm working. So they know because they see me on TV naman.
I found that really interesting that you also mentioned about your student jock days because I have a few friends who got into the student jock program, whether it's your station or another station. Like I've had so many friends go through this, through the training since high school actually.
Yeah.
Um, and all of them tell me like, "Oh my gosh, dude, it's so great! It's so," they're all talking about that. And then after a while, they just leave. Um, and then some stay, but very very few stay. But for you
Mhm.
personally, what is the biggest thing that you learned in that experience? Other than the technical skill of just speaking.
Definitely confidence. Confidence because I remember I was there for about 3 years.
Mm.
I would remember my first radio show. All I could say was yeah, with yeah, like literally just me agreeing to everything the jock was saying. And
Ah.
what I
Mm.
love about our training versus other, because of course I have friends in other
Yeah. Yeah.
programs as well. Our training kasi we are assigned to one specific jock or like one
Oh, I
specific
see.
show per week.
Mm.
So that jock gets to tutok with us na parang okay, technical stuff and then everything else. And I was just so blessed to have a jock who really, whenever I would go in the station, I remember I was 16. I was
Oh.
really, really young.
Mm.
And then I would go in the station, he would tell me, hey, superstar, what do you want to talk about today? And that,
Aw.
yeah, that really built up my confidence. I was talking to one of my friends who I trained with, and he's actually a mixed VJ now.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was telling him, you know what? I see how it has impacted us
Yes.
positively. Like we did not see it then, but I think it did. Like
Yeah.
in a very very foundational way. So that was my confidence really was built through radio.
I see that actually. Even my friends who went through the programs, like no offense, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but like their voice got like 2 times stronger or like 2 times louder.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he's like, man, like, this is what my training taught me. And I'm like, all right, that's great. And then after a while, you really see who wants it for the actual craft it
Mhm.
is versus just a
Mhm.
platform that they want to be a part of.
Mhm.
Um,
That's
but
true.
then I do think that it's very important. And don't get me wrong, it's a space. It's a really hard space because like what you said, like when you're there, and if you actually do get a job, you get like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. shows or 6 a.m. Not sorry, not 6. 6 is pretty good. But you know what I mean? You get these really bad slots. Sorry. Um, so is that why you're not considering it? Or is it really you want to get more into the hosting side of the world?
I'm actually okay with that shift
Okay.
with the graveyard shift because I mean thinking about it, it's already something that I know. It's not something that I
Mm,
would really have to like grind for. And if I audition, I know it's always gonna be my edge that I already had substantial training.
oh,
So
for
I'm
sure.
confident. I'm confident that it's still an industry that I could get into. But now kasi having explored television,
Yeah.
there's just so much more in store. And I think I think that what do you call this? My initial dream kasi was to be on news na talaga, like the news side of
Mm,
things.
I see.
So that's why I wasn't considering it because I was gearing myself towards that end. That's why I have Rappler now because
Oh, okay.
yun nga,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
expect talaga to be a content creator to maybe
Yeah.
like hop into showbiz if like there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
But yun nga, parang I was gearing myself towards news na. That's why it was at the least of like my priorities.
How about the hosting? Is hosting something that you're gonna be doing more often? At least when we
Yeah,
can do events again.
yeah, definitely. I already have done a lot of like live stream
Okay.
hosting
Yes. Yeah.
gigs lately. So because online lang ngayon, I've done a couple on ground also, and
Okay.
I have one coming up soon. So it's gonna be cool. Like
Oh,
it's
that's
a
cool.
big gig, like my biggest gig in like ever
Yeah.
in my career. So I'm
Is
super
it on the
excited for it.
ground?
So definitely, it's gonna be a live stream. So
Mm.
yeah, for this, it's gonna be a pretty big live stream. So I'm so excited for it because I wanted to be a host talaga and stay in the industry, but with the pandemic happening and all, and I'm just so happy now being Conyo girl has led me to this specific opportunity. It's just like wow, crazy times.
It's crazy though, because the brands are really stepping up in terms of live streams. Because okay, so I'm the road manager of a band, Nathan and Mercury. So we actually had a recording in which they had to record at the same time there were hosts in.
Mhm.
So they set up this huge stage actually. So we were in like this place. They set up a huge stage. There's so many health protocols. When I went inside, it felt like there was an actual concert with no people. Like there's everything. There's lights. So I do see that brands are starting to adjust, I would say.
Mhm.
But of course, it's different having a crowd. For you, what's your favorite crowd that you've hosted? Is it UAP? Is it, or how, sorry, not UAP, but like, what's the largest crowd that you've spoken to?
UA, uh, UAP is a good start
Mm.
for when I got UP Fair. So UAP
Oh,
kasi we
that's
don't
UP
really talk.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, we don't really talk to a crowd sa UAP because
Right, right.
camera
Yeah.
lang. And
Yeah.
the misconception is that when you watch a game, our reports will be heard sa arena. No, they're not heard.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Just it gets broadcasted sa TV lang talaga. So I actually stopped hosting for a while because I got super busy with UAAP. And then when I got UP Fair, I was just wow, I missed it so much. I already have hosted UP Fair prior. I hosted 2 nights in 2019
Okay.
February, and then
Okay.
2020 has to be my favorite talaga kasi it was a graveyard hosting shift. I
Ah,
was
that's so
there
fun.
for like 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. and the
Yeah.
crowd was still there. They stayed until 4 a.m. just waiting for the band, and it was a long what do you call this stretch that my partner Yanni Mayo and I had to do
Yeah.
because the artists of course they have to set up, but
Yeah.
they stayed with us, and I thank you so much to that UP Fair crowd.
Who were the bands that night?
It was a Filipino hip hop OPM night. So I was
Oh.
really happy. Al James, Mateos, Almost,
Mm.
Ron Henry, Glock 9, Casey Tandingan,
Yes.
Shanty Dope. So that, like, it was my first time. Because I've already hosted gigs ng Ben and Ben and like
Yeah.
yung traditional OPM.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why that night stuck to me talaga is because of the different atmosphere.
Hip hop's so fun though. When you attend a concert,
Yeah.
it's so different. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. OPM, general OPM is really fun as well. But when you go to hip hop, it feels different.
Yeah.
And then when you're hosting that, I'm sure that the crowd just like roaring and you're just there having a great time.
Mhm.
Other than that, what can we be expecting from you in the future?
Oh my gosh, expect? Can you not expect for me? I don't know. Well, I would definitely want to start a YouTube channel.
Mm.
It's something that I have been thinking about for a while now and trying to plan it. But since I'm still in school and I'm kind of like a nerd, and like I honestly want I want good grades, want to
Yeah.
graduate with honor, so that's my priority right
Okay. Okay.
now. So even after this semester,
Mm.
because it's gonna be a full time job if I do, just being consistent with uploading and all. But what else? Oh well, hopefully I could go into more hosting gigs on TV. So we'll see.
Mm.
I did film music video with Miko Manguba
Mm.
and Inka recently.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
yeah, that's gonna be out in December.
So more on TV. That's what I'm getting from you. You
Yeah,
really want
yeah.
to do that after school?
Well, if the opportunity presents itself
Mm.
while I'm still doing school, I will
Ah, okay.
definitely. I will, even if I have to say, let's go, let's do it, because opportunity only comes once.
Hey, broadcast companies, you hear that? I'm just kidding. Um, all right. So other than that, I just really was interested in getting you on because other than like just this character that you had, it was your tweets that got to me. It was your posts, who you actually were that interested me.
Hmm.
Like honestly, I
Thank
couldn't
you.
care less about just your character. Like it was a funny character, but like how you gonna have
Yeah.
a podcast with that? But then when I saw your tweets, and I was like, oh, okay, this girl's like really interesting to talk to, and you had all this
Hmm.
experience, you have all this, different kinds of media that you've been a part of. For you personally, what's your favorite experience so far among all the different types of media that you've been a part of?
I would have to say UAAP talaga.
Mm.
Because UAAP, I would definitely want to maybe act in a teleserye, but even if that happens, I would always look back at UAAP as the best experience because it's live TV. And live TV is a completely different animal from radio or any recorded media because when you make mistake, it's there
Yes.
forever and no
Yeah.
cuts, and it's just a really it's a great environment, but when you're all working, it's high pressure. I was telling
Mm.
my friends yesterday, because during our shoot, actually, I was
Mm.
telling them, you know what, guys, live TV, you have to have thick skin, and your heart has to be in the right place because if you're doing it to get clout, if you're doing like if you become a courtside reporter or a news reporter to get the facts straight, it's hard to
Mm.
get substantial information and translate it into a human interest story.
Yeah.
So it was such an amazing experience.
I remember when I was watching, I forgot which video this was, but it was really, really funny. I think it's my favorite video from you. So it was about like you worshiping during oceans, and then the crush comes and just like,
Yeah.
I want to ask you about a bit about that because, of
Hmm.
course, we live in a world that, generally speaking, it's a hard topic to discuss. You have
Hmm.
belief, you have faith, all that stuff, and then you have. Was that actually an experience that you went through? Because like I'd imagine that it might be.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I like because when you're I don't know if you are a Christian
I am.
kid.
Yeah.
Are you? Are you
Yes.
right?
I'm in the same
Because
as
when you
Micah and
grew,
Nepomuceno.
oh, so you're
Yes.
victory also.
Yes.
Okay, I'm victory also.
Okay.
I grew up in the church. I am a part of musicals and kids church, having friends in kids church. So yeah, definitely, especially in youth service, when someone cute comes in, it's like, Amen, Lord.
Where did you attend?
I've been to a lot of
Okay.
Victory branches because I live really far. But I first attended in Fourth, and then we transferred to Galleria
Mm.
when Galleria was established in Ortigas. And then when Victory Metro East started, my uncle is a pastor for Metro East,
Oh,
so
okay.
we started attending in Metro East. And then now my other uncle who came back from missions, he helps out in Antipolo, and
Okay.
Antipolo just got planted. So I'm also in
So
Antipolo
going
helping.
everywhere.
Yeah, well, I'm in one church meeting in different locations. That's what they always say.
That is what they always say. Like no matter where you are, because I grew up in Alabang. I'm still here.
Mhm.
I'm still in Alabang. But then I found that really funny when you posted that video, because it just brought me back to like maybe like 6 7 years ago, where sometimes it was a girl, sometimes it's like a camera. It depends. But then you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Like someone's walking by you, or like oh my gosh, they're walking by, they're walking by. Ah, Lord, Lord.
That's so true.
That felt like the most real video for a Christian kid to watch. I'm like,
Mhm.
yep, that happens.
I actually wanted to make more because I just felt like, oh yeah, a lot of people related to it, and even if they're not like they don't attend at a Christian church, some
Yeah,
people still were able to relate to it, like just
yeah,
applying it to
yeah,
their
yeah,
own faith. So I don't know, it's just really funny. So maybe soon.
yeah. Just so I really hope that we get more content like that, because that was really funny to me. All right,
Okay, maybe I'll think about it.
all right. So are you ready for a quick speed round?
Oh, oh my gosh. Okay, game.
All right. So for the speed round, answer as quickly as you can, and as fast as you can. Sorry, and as honestly as you can, but focus more on the honesty part. That's what I care about more. And feel free to
Okay,
elaborate on your answer afterwards.
okay.
All right. All right. So for the speed round, first one, let's start a bit easy. Who's your favorite TikToker today?
McCoy. Okay, can I have three? I have three.
Go, fine.
McCoy, Inca, and Marvin.
So you're friends, basically?
Yeah, no, but because the thing is, before I became friends with them, I was a huge fan. So
Ah,
I always
okay.
thought, I was like, guys, I'm a fan.
And then you became friends with them. You're like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I'm so cool.
All right. What's one type of TikTok content that you dislike?
Oh, that's hard. Oh, probably like the tea, TikTok tea. Because
Mm,
people like, especially recently, people are just like starting tea and
mm.
fighting with each other and just adding to the flame. And it's still content.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even if it's not fitting to some genres, it's just, oh man, I had a stressful day. I open TikTok and I see that. It's just,
Mm.
where are the skits? Friends, where are the skits?
Are you also into like the dancing, or is it just purely skits for you?
I, I danced a couple times. Actually, before my TikTok went viral, I was very, very opposed to myself creating skits because I just felt
Okay.
like, yeah, because I just felt like no one's gonna think it's benta.
Mm,
So I stuck to dancing, which would
mm.
get like 3 likes max, and I would still prepare myself. I don't even know why. It was such a waste of time.
If there's any TV host, anyone in the world that you could work for or learn from, who would it be?
Hmm. Oh my god, hard. But I do watch. Okay, first person come to mind, probably James Corden because I
I
had it.
love James
I
Corden.
I really love his. I love all the segments to his shows. And I remember I would go on LinkedIn and just search like opportunities on CBS
Oh,
because
that's great.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very open also to
yeah,
working behind the scenes because
yeah,
that's what I'm studying. So
yeah.
if there's an opportunity to work for him and like at least add to the creativity that is the Late Show,
For
I'll
sure.
take it.
I love that show.
Right?
Is there any radio DJ that you feel the same way about, or is it generally just TV?
Radio DJ. Because I actually one of the things that actually contributed to me maybe exiting
Mm.
RX was because the jock that I look up to so much, Cara Erigel, I think she already forgoed radio and just focused
Oh,
on hosting, and I was
okay.
like, but I love you, Carol. So yeah, it's
And then
like,
you're like,
you know
fine,
what?
I'll follow
Peace
in your
out.
footsteps. Bye, radio.
Out. Yeah, I'm not really like, oh my gosh, such a fan. But yeah,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
I really love her. I
Fair.
vibe with her so much.
What's on your Spotify playlist today?
My Spotify playlist. Oh, I was just listening to it. Let me check.
Go ahead.
I was listening. I listened to a lot of R&B.
Mm.
Oh, I was listening to Chicago Freestyle by Drake.
Oh, okay.
I
What's on
have
your
this whole
Netflix list
vibe.
right now?
My Netflix list, I'm watching. I just watched Modern Family, which
I
is
love Modern
I've
Family.
watched. I've watched it since I was 11, 12,
Okay.
and I would still rewatch it. Like I would still laugh like I'm watching the episode for the first time. But I am continuing Grey's Anatomy as well.
But that's so long.
I started in high school, and I'm
Okay.
still not
Because
done.
I have a friend that was like, bro, you should watch Grey's Anatomy. And I'm like, how many seasons is that? Like 16, 17?
18 now.
Oh my gosh. So I was like, nope. I tried though. I tried. But the thought of it not ending was really hard for me to grasp. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, might not work out for me. Um, on Modern Family, I love Modern Family. I'm actually watching a rewatch right now because
Mhm.
I finished till 11, season 11, and then I have 12 on my laptop, but I wanted to go back to watch it all again. And you're right,
Mhm.
it is
Mhm.
really, it's super, super funny.
It is.
Other than that, what's your relationship nowadays with online media? Is it something that you have to like step away from sometimes? Is it something that you're going after like all out now? Like where do you land on to like social media today?
I think because the whole character was just spread like wildfire. I really wanted to be consistent. For the first 2 months, like I said, I was super, super consistent, posting every day,
Yeah.
7 days a week. And I would like really reply to comments, check out the notifications. But when school and other priorities just arrived and when brands started to get me, it felt like a job
Yeah.
already. So I
Yeah.
had to take a pause on being such a social butterfly.
Yeah.
So I had to focus more on like, oh yeah, I need to start seeing this as as a source of, I don't know, income,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
have to focus on getting to the next level. So that's how I see it now. Definitely for a while it was just like I don't wanna I don't wanna even look at my phone. It's hard because
I'm sure.
every day there I get DMs nonstop, people on TikTok commenting, and I'm more active on Twitter nowadays
Mm.
because I feel like I have a substantial following on Twitter, which is where media entities look at.
Mm.
So that's where I'm trying to focus
Okay.
on, not really much on TikTok and being chit chatty on like my comment section like I
Right.
was before, because for a time it got really toxic, just seeing
Mm.
everything, even the negative stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to learn it. I'm still learning because sometimes it's like,
For sure.
let me see what people said, and then I'll like, oh, let me just try this video.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a healthy relationship, just not just getting back to how I viewed TikTok before. But I think it's not really something that I can do
Yeah.
because I already have a platform. I'm not just a user of
Yeah.
the app. So definitely a lot of more responsibility. I've given talks and on like responsible content creation. And
Mm.
while I was doing it, it kind of also became like a self help lesson to myself
That's
that,
good.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I have to be really responsible. So sometimes I do have to log off. Yesterday I was out on a shoot, so thankfully I had that time and space
That
to just
that's
distance
great.
myself from
Yeah.
everything. And I had this like I was at this Bible group and people were just like, yeah, the world's not gonna crash and burn if you forget to reply to one email or
Yeah.
one DM. So that's what I'm trying to confront myself with
I think a lot
recently.
of us are going through that, especially if you're someone who posts stuff. Like, sometimes you just
Hmm.
have to like step away from it for a while.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
yeah.
before I posted my videos, I just came off a 2 week break from social media,
Oh,
and
okay.
my break was so intense that I wouldn't even reply to anyone. I deleted my app.
That's
I
good.
wouldn't reply to my
Yeah.
friends,
Oh.
and they just know that because
Mm,
I'm the kind of person who really needs her time and space away from social media, but I can't do that now. The same kind of distance that I was taking before. It's not
mm.
possible for me now
Yeah.
because I have responsibilities with brands. So just trying to maintain a healthy relationship rather than suddenly disappearing is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn.
That's a hard thing to balance, though. The more I think about it, I'm just like you have certain obligations that you have to do, but you want to step away, but you need to do this. Like, I feel like that's really hard. For you, what would be your advice to people who are trying to get into hosting, trying to get into radio, or even television? I mean, you're not there yet necessarily, but for someone who's younger than you, who's still thinking about it, what would your advice be?
Well, ano ba? You have to, I saw this quote on Pinterest, so it's, it's not from me, but
I
I
mean,
saw this
it's
quote.
fine.
It says, visualize your highest self, then show up as her or him or
Mm.
whatever person you want to be. Because I think that's what I did lang throughout. Just fake it till you make it is such a bad term. So visualize your highest self, then show up as her because you're not yet that person
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
But I always show up as if I already have this, and I did get a lot of I did get a lot of opportunities because, for instance, on TikTok, people knew me as Conyo Girl, but since I started inserting I always mention that I am a host. I did this. I did
Ah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of giving some bearing to where I want to get to,
Yeah.
and brands and people who can get me in touch with that line of work that I want to get into have already been messaging me, emailing me because I mentioned once now. I mentioned one time I said I want to be an artista, and a couple days later I did this whole bit with parang GMA network because I wanted to apply for them as a reporter
Mm.
before it. And then I actually got featured by
Oh,
GMA on the
okay.
news,
Yeah.
on their YouTube channel, on articles. There's
Yeah.
been quite a lot now recently, and I think it's because I've just been bombarding people with that kind of content, so they
Yeah.
tag
Yeah.
the network. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point, though, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are just like, I'm gonna stick to what I do. But then it is important to share about yourself, what you want to do for opportunities to come. That's a great point. And it's a good way of saying fake it till you make it.
that's
How
it.
about to the person who's for yourself, like you said that, you know what I mean, like the quarantine wasn't the easiest for you, but you did manage to start something. To the person who's trying to start something, what would you recommend? What would you say?
You can't time everything. I wanna do what happened. It's literally in my
Mm.
prayer and fasting manual. Do a custom season for UAP, but it didn't happen. So
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
have to follow God's timeline. So just keep doing. I just kept on tapping into the talents that I already
Mm.
have.
Yeah.
So even if it's quarantine, people just have to get creative with what they could tap into because there are a lot of opportunities. A lot of people I don't know. I just see McCoy as an inspiration talaga.
Mm.
Seeing McCoy, he was able to transcend into show business and become a host, a
Yeah.
noontime show host.
Yeah.
So, and it all started because of Aunt Julie and the TikToks he was
Mm.
making during quarantine.
Yeah.
So there really isn't a perfect time for everything because if it's your time, God will give it to you naman.
That's true. Second to the last one. What's your message to Conyo kids?
Oh my gosh, Conyo kids. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's hey friends, let's I don't know, grab lunch sometime. Well, I do have to say that I love Conyo kids. I love my Conyo friends and my Conyo cousins, and I just want to say that I don't like it when people are Conyo kids are so arte, as if they associate it with being dumb. Because
Yeah.
there was an uprising on Twitter about the whole Ben fishball situation,
Oh,
tusok,
yes.
tusok, whatever.
Yeah.
There was this girl who represented as some dumb bimbo, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people are just yeah, we're smart. So yeah, stay smart, guys.
Thank you for the representation. Very important.
you for being yourselves, honestly.
All right, Rain, where can people catch you?
Oh, yeah, you guys could catch me online at Rain Matienzo. So that's Rain as in Ulan, like RAINMATIENZO. And hopefully soon catch me on TV.
There you go.
Claiming it.
All right, Rain, thank you so much for the talk on content creation being, the Conyo character. I appreciate you coming on. And hopefully you get that. I claim that. It's time for the radio, it's time for the TV, wherever you're gonna go. I know that it's gonna be great for you wherever you end up choosing, to go. And then for all the media partners out there, hit up that DM.
Shout out.
Shout
Thank
out.
you so much, Trey.
All right, Rain, thank you so much.